Fable is a unique gem that spawned out of the early Xbox era from the mind of Peter Molyneux and Lionhead Studios. But what other games fill that space? Let's take a look at a few. Before the days of critical acclaim, Divinity, Original Sin 2, and Baldur's Gate 3, Larian was a struggling small RPG studio, and one of those earlier games that they made happens to be a good match for Fable fans. Divinity 2, Ego Draconis, unlike Divinity Original Sin, is a third-person RPG, as that quirky European sense of humor and makes sure you know it right from the start. Divinity 2 may be a little janky, but it's a pretty ambitious game, allowing you to take flight as a dragon and burn your enemies at various points in the story, but the majority of the time is spent in third person fighting baddies and talking to NPCs. It even has other unique mechanics outside of Dragonflight. You can build your own undead creature with replaceable parts, and you can even read minds. Divinity 2 Ego Draconis is a great choice for Fable fans. Just make sure to get the developer's cut version. That has all the available content. You can play it on Xbox 360 and PC. A game that a lot of people point to when it comes to games like Fable is Kingdoms of Amalur. The game has a pretty unique style, but it does have that sort of fairy tale feel to it. It has a quick-paced and responsive sort of combat that many people love, allowing you to play in 3 different styles, much like Fable, but this time it's might, finesse, and sorcery. There's also a good amount of exploration that allows you to wind your way through hidden paths, so if you're searching for the feeling of Fable with some similar mechanics, and you don't care as much about the simulation elements, Kingdoms of Amalur is a good choice, and it's a good game. There's also a newer version of it called Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning with updated graphics, mechanics, and it includes the DLC, aside from the one that was released later. You can play Kingdoms of Amalur on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Sudeki was made by Climax Studios, a UK developer, so it actually has quite a bit of that British DNA to it, the dark humor and the wittiness, and it also released within the same 8-week period for Xbox, making it feel very familiar mechanically, though it trades the action RPG style combat for this interesting mix. It's like a party-based combat. The mechanics are very strange. There's a first-person shooter aspect to it and a third-person action RPG with abilities that you can choose, and the different styles are based on which character you're currently swapped to, which you can do on the fly. This is another one that is more similar to Fable in terms of how it feels and the moment-to-moment movement around different areas, and the vibe of the game with colorful fantasy areas to explore. You can play Sudeki on Xbox and PC. A game that starts to play around with the morality choices and style of Fable is Overlord, and I would specifically recommend Overlord 2. It refines some of the ideas and is overall thought of as the better game. Overlord 2 has a similar tone about it, but it focuses a lot more on the evil side of things, giving you different moral choices. They're all villainous, just with different styles, and Overlord 2 gives you control over armies of minions, and using those minions you can truly embrace the evil inside you that you felt in Fable. It has a bit of the simulation that Fable had, but in the form of your own fortress, which you upgrade and manage, hitting on the power fantasy elements pretty hard, so give Overlord 2 a try. You can play it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And one game that people might not realize is actually pretty similar to Fable is Dungeons of Hinterberg. The idea of this one is that you're going on a vacation to the Alps, but this is a particular kind of vacation that involves fighting monsters. You also spend time getting to know the locals. It's a little more involved of a relationship system than the one in Fable in some ways, and you can't marry a random person, but it is another layer of similarity. A lot of the meat in the game is spent in dungeons, as mentioned in the title, and in solving various puzzles while exploring. Dungeons of Hinterberg may not quite have the fairy tale feeling to it that Fable has, but it's a colorful and interesting world to explore that should appeal to fans of Fable's style of gameplay. Dungeons of Hinterberg is on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. If you want a similar style to Fable, but with a darker atmosphere and a more open world, you should check out Risen. Risen also dips pretty far into the choices department, but with a different take on it involving factions, so Depending on what faction you choose to align with, the things you can do can be quite different. And while there isn't strictly a morality system, you can choose to be a good guy or a completely terrible person, and it does matter. Your choices can shape the fates of various NPCs and the way that things shake out in the area as a whole. Plus, Risen can lead you to Gothic Remake and Gothic 2, which are some of the most fun old school games you can play. And this is a game that I think Fable fans shouldn't ignore. You can play Risen on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And for the bonus game, I've seen people recommend this game for Fable fans, and I actually agree. Take a look at Jade Empire. It's not the best match in some ways, but it does have a very clear morality system, feels like a fairy tale, just more of an Eastern style of fairy tale. It's definitely worth looking at. So there you go. If you have any recommendations for games you think Fable fans should check out, put a comment down below. And for more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.